Welcome to another live with Clifton Brantley. Welcome to the Learn to Love 101 podcast. I am your host, Clifton Brantley, and I am so glad that you have joined me this evening. so, you guys have heard the topic for tonight, and I know a lot of people are, I don't know if excited is the right word. A lot of people are anxious to hear what I have to say. Um, and so we're going to dive right into it. But before we do, couple of things I want to share with you. So, if you don't know, the book club has launched. Uh, if you want to sign up for the book club, you may have to leave a message in the comments, and I'll get you the link to sign up for the book club. So basically, we are started a book club. We are meeting. We meet every month on the third Fridays, but this month we're going to meet on the fourth Friday. So next Friday we'll be talking about for men only and for women only. So that's the first book that we're going through. The brothers are going to read for men only. The women are going to read for women only. And then we're going to come together and we're going to talk about it. And it's going to be on Zoom. So it's going to be a little different format. So we'll be able to see people's faces. And so if you're shy and don't want folk to see you, then okay. But the book club will not be public. So you have to sign up. You have to register. It's $5. And that's going to be just those people that pay, and it will not be recorded. So there's no replay of the book club. It's just a way to help us do love and life better. Some of the books that I prescribe for clients, we'll go through some of those and, help you get your life together if you're not a client. Okay. So that's one thing. Another thing, if you're not a subscriber already, I would ask that you would subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the little bell so you'll get notifications when I post new videos or when I go live. All right, that'd be helpful. And let's see, is that the last thing? One more thing. Let me get some water real quick before I actually start the recording of the podcast part. Because I am doing a podcast and the podcast doesn't necessarily have video, you may at times see me reading my notes a little more. But that's so that the sound, the audio can go smoothly. Now, I may not have to do that, but I'm just saying if you see that, that's why. Also, there's a point for you guys on video. I'm gonna put up a disclaimer. I'm gonna leave the disclaimer up because someone may join the video later and hear me on a point and be confused. I want you to see this disclaimer up here all the time, right? So. Now, because I said all of that, I am going to edit this part. So I'm gonna start my little intro over, okay? All right, so don't be thrown off. I'm gonna do this intro and then we're gonna go right into it. Welcome to another live with Clifton Brantley. This is my podcast, Learn to Love 101. My goal is to help you do love and life better. So today we are talking about why do men cheat? Why do men cheat? We've talked, not we, but this topic has been covered extensively just throughout history, right? And is I don't raise this question to say that women don't cheat. This is just the topic for tonight, right? Why do men cheat? Now, it is not my intent to give you an exhaustive list of the reasons why men cheat, because I don't have that. I don't know if anyone has that. And neither am I. This is not about me validating or condoning cheating. I'm not condoning infidelity. I'm not making an excuse for infidelity. But these are things that I notice in my office because I have a lot of affair clients right now. And what I notice is that a lot of these brothers who are decent brothers have some other issues going on with themselves and in their marriage. And I wanted to kind of point that out to kind of help those who have not been hit by the infidelity torpedo to kind of protect your marriage, or as much as you can. Like if you look for these signs, then hopefully you can attack them early and avoid that disaster. Now, let me also be clear in saying that None of what I'm saying in here is making the woman, you, the wife, making you responsible for what your man does. That's not. So all of us are responsible for our own behavior. No one can make you do anything. So the people that cheat, men that have cheated, women have cheated, and sometimes they come in my office and they say, "Well, I did this because because you did such and such, or you was whatever." They try to shift the blame. The marriage was so messed up, it put me in this position, and that's why I did that. Uh, that's not really true, right? If you've heard me do this example before, if you slap me and I slap you back, I can't say that the reason I slapped you is because you slapped me. That's not taking responsibility for my behavior. The reason that I slapped you is because of how I respond to being slapped. In the same way, for those of you that are actually dealing with infidelity, the reason that your man cheated is because of how he responds to whatever what was going on with him or the marriage or whatever, right? So I'm not saying that none of this is not about your fault. You can't make anybody do anything. However, you absolutely can influence. You absolutely can make it easier. You can push your man away from you. And so those are the things that I want to address and try to avoid, try to help you avoid in your marriage. Okay, so that's what we're doing tonight. Now, let me talk before I get into why men cheat. I want to say I have 7 points, but I want to talk first just about infidelity and the destruction of it. Okay, and this is for the people who are walking in it now, or if there are men on here who are thinking about it, or you have bad boundaries. Let me tell you something. So I tell my clients I have an advantage that they don't have. Uh, I get to hear their stories of destruction, and I get to hear them all the time every week. So it keeps at the forefront of my mind the possible destruction that can come with infidelity. Now, that still does not make me 100% safe. Like, I'm not insulated from what's in the world, but I do have an advantage, because the thing is, when you cheat, you're not thinking about the destruction that's coming with it. Usually you're thinking, this ain't right. If I get caught, it's going to be bad. Um, and, if I get caught, it'll be really bad. Really, really bad, right? No matter how bad you say, the thing that you don't really understand is the level of destruction you're causing. Because so think about this: when you're in the kitchen, let's say you drop some ketchup on the floor. You got the kind of towel. Let's say you got the vinyl towel, and it's been a while, so the towel is not completely butted up together, so there's spaces in it or whatever. You drop ketchup on the floor, it gets into the crevices, it gets into the side of the baseboard, and the part that's on the actual floor, on the flat part, you can just wipe that up. But all the other places where the ketchup gets, you're like, dang, I can't get that out of there, or what in the world? That's how the destruction happens in your marriage. So when things are destroyed, like your marriage, there are casualties that you don't even consider. So many things, like everything is uprooted, and you're like, wow, I did not see this level of destruction coming. Right? I knew it was bad, but I didn't think about my children. I didn't think about my bank account. I didn't think that she wouldn't be able to sleep. I didn't think that she would be suicidal. I didn't like you so much you just don't think about. But that is the plan of the enemy of marriage. What do I mean by that? The enemy of marriage has a plan for your marriage, and he wants to blind you to the destruction that comes right after you decide to satisfy your own needs as opposed to looking out for us. It's a trap. Here's what I say about traps. If traps look like traps, you wouldn't fall into them. Like, right, if the rat knew that cheese was a trap, rat gonna say, I'm not eating that. That's gonna kill me. But ain't thinking like that. But in the same way with you, If you knew, if you could see the destruction beforehand, I tell people this all the time when they sit in my office. I say, while you're sitting here in all of this uncomfortableness, if you could have saw this before you did what you did, you would not have continued to walk through. You wouldn't have done that. You just wouldn't have, because you didn't see this coming. So the destruction that happens in infidelity, and I'm not going to, like teach a whole lesson on infidelity. I can later, but so tonight, let me make sure, let me be clear about this. Tonight, I'm talking specifically about when men cheat. Again, I know women cheat, but I'm talking specifically about when men cheat. I'll do another live another time on the other topic. So that'll help me with my dialogue in the way that so I don't have to be universal. I can just talk directly to men. So, brothers, when you decide to cheat, you have no idea of the destruction you're causing, and you don't really understand. Oftentimes, you don't understand how her whole world is literally upside down. Like Stranger Things, she's in the upside down. Like she can't trust anything anymore. And here's something that you don't think about, but let me give it to you so you can think about it. If this is on your screen, uh, when you cheat, she will question everything from the very beginning, and she'll wonder, was all of that a lie? All of this talking about God he does, was that a lie? All of this, we got to be a power couple, was that a lie? All of this, he'll die for me and he loved me, was that a lie? Because after a lie this huge, you got to question what's real. Another thing that women say, they literally don't know who you are. Now, that's partly because the image of you that they made up part of it. But the other part is you've been deceitful. You've been walking a certain way, and they've determined he won't do that. And these are the ones that are hurt the most because they are completely blindsided by the behavior of their man. And then, trying to pick up those pieces. It's too many little pieces everywhere you're trying to pick up. And here's another thing about infidelity. There is no quick fix for healing the destruction that is caused by infidelity. There's no quick fix. I've had a few brothers over probably the last 2 months come in, and they want to move quickly through the healing process, right? They don't want to experience any pain. They don't want their woman to ask them questions, and I get it. It's because I don't want to be reminded of my. I don't want to be reminded of my of what I've done, right? I want to just move past it, but the problem is you cannot do that. You trying to rush past it is going to re-injure her, and it's going to delay the healing process. You can't hurt your partner and then apologize for that distraction. So you can't injure your partner. I don't know what I was saying. I don't know what I was saying. And y'all got to give me a minute to calm down now. That's the thing about live, because now I'm upset. Hold on. All right. Okay. So let's just back up and, matter of fact, let's just get to the points of why men cheat. Oh, y'all gonna have to give me a minute. All righty. we're going to try this again. I don't want to start over because I'm recording, and I'll just chop up the audio the way I need to, right? So let me say this. There are some men who are trifling. Okay. There are some men who are flat out just low down. I'm not talking about those men. Now, having said that, you got to be careful about labeling your man as trifling because you're looking at him through the lens of your pain. His behavior may be, his behavior may have been trifling, but be careful about labeling him that way as a whole because that may not be his reality. Okay. So let's get into the 7 things that I have as far as why men cheat. Why men cheat. And again, women, this is not about blaming you, right? Men are in control of their own behavior. They are adults, even though they are acting like children, right? So I'm just saying you're not responsible for them. So here we go. Now, and these are not in order. These are not any kind of hierarchy, like any kind of order, hierarchical order. I was not going to say that word because I knew it's going to be difficult, and I tried it anyway, and I still messed it up. But you get what I'm saying, right? So here's the first thing. Some men cheat because they need more attention. Now, I said that already because I want to make sure. Just me saying that and me hearing myself say it, the thought immediately came back to my mind of, hey, it's not your fault. I really want to make sure I continue to get that point across, that it is not your fault, right? But anyway, I'll go through them. You guys ask me questions if you have questions. Okay, let's just do that. So number 1, they need more attention. Now, attention is a core human need. Attention is a core human need. It's built in. Now, why your man needs more attention, don't know. It could be a result of childhood, like the way he was raised, and that doesn't necessarily mean it comes from a dysfunctional place. But maybe he grew up in a family where he got a lot of attention, and now he's with you. For you to say, "Man, I'm not giving you all the attention like that. You're too needy or whatever," you're going to injure your relationship. Okay, or maybe he needs more attention because it is coming from a dysfunctional place. What you have to do is work with that brother to help him recognize that his attention needs may be a little high, but at the same time, you try to meet them as much as you can within reason, right? While he works to fix whatever he needs to fix. Okay. So if a man feels like he needs more attention, the immaturity and the lack of boundaries or whatever can make it easy for the cleanup woman, because here's the cleanup woman is always going to show him attention. By the way, I know I'm probably telling my age, and I forgot. So I'll be 50 in 2 weeks, and I know a lot of my clients are way younger than me. Let me explain who the cleanup woman is, right? So Betty Wright has this song long ago called "The Cleanup Woman," and basically she's talking about do your work so that the cleanup woman doesn't come and take your man. That's the mistress. The cleanup woman is the woman who is available. Proverbs call her. What does Proverbs call? I forgot. I was reading it the other day, but the promiscuous woman in Proverbs. But the cleanup woman. So when I say the cleanup woman, I'm talking about the woman who. And watch this. Not all cleanup women. Not all women who gets your man attention, or not all women who find themselves in the mistress position are an actual cleanup woman, meaning they were looking for that. Not all of them are looking for that, right? But anyway, that's what cleanup woman means. So don't label your man as you're too needy. You need too much attention, because here's what'll happen. He'll stop sharing it with you, but the need won't go away. And sure enough, the enemy will send somebody to meet that need. And if he don't have good boundaries, if he's not mature, he's in trouble. Okay. So that's the first one. Sometimes men want and need more attention. That's not a bad thing. But uh, if you notice that your man needs more attention, other than just giving it to him, y'all talk about it. Talk about these needs. Talk about the attention that he needs and how he needs it. Right? Do that because it's important for needs to be met. Love is felt when needs are met. Okay. All right. So now here's the second one. Actually, hold on. Let me move my screen up. All right, there we go. So the second one is he doesn't feel appreciated at home, right? He doesn't feel appreciated at home. Now, notice I did not say that you're not appreciating him. It's not what I said. I said he doesn't feel appreciated. If your husband doesn't feel appreciated, you want to find out why. Now, first of all, you got to figure out that he don't feel that, because if he's not communicating, they don't feel appreciated, then you can't really address it, right? But find out what appreciation means to him. And I'm telling this is for all women, men too, but since I'm talking to the women, find out what your partner needs to feel appreciated other than words. Because saying I appreciate that you do this and do that, that's only going to take you so far. And that's with anything. Your words are only going to take you so far. Your behavior needs to speak appreciation. Yeah. And your husband or your wife can better tell you what that looks like than I can. Right? I could guide you through it, but it's your partner is the one that's going to tell you, hey, when you do this, it makes me feel appreciated. Because again, guess what? The cleanup woman is just waiting to appreciate your man. Waiting to appreciate your man. So show appreciation. Number three, he feels unheard. This is a huge one because this is a lot of couples in my practice, infidelity or not, right? Where the husband feels unheard. If your husband is consistently feeling that you're not hearing him, it could push him away. Okay. The problem with the pushing away, again, is that the cleanup woman is always willing to hear what he has to say. Right? Now, maybe you guys need to take my communication course and learn how to talk. I don't know. But he needs, you both do, but again, we're talking to the women. He needs to feel like he's appreciated. I mean, I'm sorry, that you hear him, not on appreciation. He needs to know that he's being heard. All humans want to be seen. All humans want to be heard. That's just life, right? Maybe you need to do a better job at learning him and understand his limitations to, like communicating or whatever, so that you can help him be better. Keyword is help, not make. You're going to help him. How can you help your partner be heard? Well, you can help him by, like I say, learning him, learning his quirks, learning how he does communicate, and then learning, okay, so when he says this, I know he really means that. So yeah, you may have to do a little bit of investigating, right? So I actually have a client who is a good communicator. He's a good communicator, but his wife has a hard time understanding him and hearing him. Right? Now, he thinks it's because of her lack of education, which affects her ability to understand. Now, he knew this when he married her. However, he admits that he didn't think that, this would be a thing. Now, when I asked the wife, I said, if your husband, if you know that your husband is a certain kind of person or a certain kind of man, what is the reason that your love for him does not make you want to be able to communicate with him at his level? Right? Why doesn't your love for him make you want to communicate with him at his level? What's the reason that you just want to have him come down to your level so y'all can converse? And he does need to do that, right? Because he chose you, you chose him. right? But in that situation, what she couldn't see was that she was making it easy for the cleanup woman because she wasn't hearing her man. Like they couldn't really communicate. So they talk about surface stuff, right? And they couldn't really go deep. He felt unheard. When a man feels unheard, usually, this ain't everybody, he'll get to a point to where he's just gonna stop trying. And the way we raise boys in this country, we don't raise them for emotional intelligence. We don't raise them to be. We don't raise them for connection. So when you get this husband, it's in a way that he shows up to the marriage table with certain deficiencies because of how he was raised. That could play into the fact that he feels unheard. So, and that's why, sometimes in relationships, in marriage, it doesn't seem fair. The things that you have to do, put up with, be patient about, it doesn't seem fair. But just remember, if your partner is going to love you effectively, they got to do the same things for you. Okay? Got to do the same things for you. So, here's number 4. Number 4 is he feel like he can't talk to you. Now, let me dive a little deeper on this one for sure, because a lot of men show up to marriage not being a great communicator. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about here, though. That is a factor, and he does need to be able to communicate. But what I'm talking about is when he can't talk to you, right? For reasons like you're too critical. Some of my wives, some of my clients, my wife client wives, I don't know, whatever you call me. Some of the wives are just absolutely too critical. Like they ride their husbands about everything. And sometimes in session, I say, ma'am, I'll say her name at the time, but ma'am, is that really that important? Is that really that crucial that you would make a big deal about that? Because that what you're complaining about or being critical about has little to nothing to do with the actual relationship and everything to do with your husband personally. And I'm just giving you an example. So maybe he can't talk to you because you're too critical, or you get upset about everything, right? I got women who, no matter what their husband says, he wrong. Or when he's right, she hits him with a yeah, but blah, 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 dismissing what he's saying. He can't talk to you, right? What's another one? You never take responsibility for what you do. So something happens. He comes to you about it. And instead of taking responsibility, you defend yourself, or you shift blame, or you change the topic, or you just get upset. He can't talk to you. And so what he does, he starts to pull back, starts talking to you less and less. That's dangerous, right? And then the other one, like I said, when it comes to he can't talk to you, he can't do anything right. Right? Everything he does in your eyes is wrong. That wasn't good enough. Yeah, but you could have did it this way. And now this one, I have to talk to husbands and wives about doing that to their partner. But again, because we're talking to the women tonight, don't be so critical about the things, even if there are things that he's doing wrong. Don't be so critical to say that you are better than him. That's the message you'll send. If you're always putting him down, you're sending the message that I'm better than you. But the thing is, he may not be thinking that, right? He's not thinking that you're better than him, but he's getting tired of it. And so guess what happens? The distance starts to grow, providing space for the cleanup woman. And then the last one, as far as why he can't talk to you, you always got attitude. Always, I remember I wasn't married, but I was dating a girl one time. We didn't talk much. We got to a point, it didn't start off this way, but it got to a point to where we didn't talk much because every time I brought up something, well, no, not when I brought up something, she just seemed to always be upset, always have an attitude, like she wasn't enjoying life at all. I'm like, golly, like you don't enjoy nothing? Always had an attitude, always complaining, distance. Now I didn't end up cheating, but it doggone show broke up the relationship. Like, man, you ain't never happy, So be mindful of that. These are things that contribute to him not being able to talk to you. In marriage, you got to be able to talk to your partner. How do you build intimacy if you can't talk? Dr. Marks taught me that intimacy is built when we confide in one another. But if we can't talk, some of us communicate immaturely like children. And this is about emotional immaturity, right? So my grandson was over a couple of weekends ago, and we're talking, and I said, Chandler, people don't like talking to you because when you talk, you want people to listen to you. But then when I start talking, you don't listen. And when I finish, you just go back to what you want to talk about. And that makes me not want to talk to you. And that's how people are going to be if you interact with them like that. Now, he's 8 or 7 and a half, 8. He'll be 8 in a few months. But I was sharing that with him to let him know, hey, you can't just be selfish and talk about what you want to talk about. Other people want to feel valued and special too. Now, he's 8. So I'm starting now. So by the time he's 18, he has the message in, right? But some of you wives or husbands, in the same way, I know you're not interested in sports, right? I know you're not interested in football. I know you're not interested in basketball. I know you're not interested in yard work or the tools or, I know you're not interested in cars and trucks. But if your husband is really into that, it would be wise. You don't have to do it. You can do what you want to do. But it would be wise for you to find somewhere you can enter into his world and be a part of it. Why? Because that builds intimacy, that builds connection. And yes, I will say he needs to do the same thing with your world. Yes, because I know somebody's probably thinking that. I read your mind. No, I didn't. But yes, he needs to find an area where he can fit into your life as well. But you want to be able to fit into his life and connect with him, around some of the things that are important to him. Why? Because that's going to communicate to your husband that you value him and what he does. Right? All right. So now, let's go to number 5. Fifth reason men cheat. And this is kind of similar to the last one where, he can't talk to you, but it's a little different. He's not able to express, he's not able to express himself to his wife. He has an inability on his own. So it's not the wife that's blocking it, but he has an inability of expressing himself. That's very common and it's very dangerous. When you have a man who is unable to express his needs or his desires, the reason the situation is dangerous is because the needs and the desires are still in there, right? He needs to do the work to be able to get it out, but the needs and the desires are in there. So he's not expressing it to you. He don't have to be looking for the cleanup woman or anyone else. He can just be doing life, and someone will, I'm gonna say accidentally, because it's not intentional, because you don't know me, right? You don't know that brother, you don't know that sister. It's not intentional, but they can show up in a way, and colleagues, or I'm not gonna say friends, because your friends know about boundaries. Hopefully, if your friends don't know about boundaries, like within your marriage, they're not your friend, right? Side note: friends of yours, husbands. I'm talking to the husbands now. Husbands, any friends you have, I'm not supposed to talk to the men. Any friends you have, they have to be a friend of the marriage, or you got to change the dynamic of the friendship, meaning possibly killing the friendship. Your friendship, it needs to be a friend of the marriage. Having, even men or women, having friends that your partner does not know about, not familiar with, that's dangerous. right? And I probably should have talked about, well, I'll do that in another video or another session. Talk about uh, putting certain barriers in place, barriers and boundaries to help protect again from infidelity. All right. So, getting back to what I was saying, as far as him not being able to express himself, talk to you. So, uh, if he can't talk to you, if he can't express himself, the thing that you need to do, the thing that you have to do is make sure that he has a safe space so that it's safe to express himself as he learns to do it. Like I said, he may have shown up not knowing how to express himself, but the needs are still in there, right? And so your job is to be patient and make sure that it's self. And this one you may not like, but you may also have to increase your mind reading skills. Yeah. You may have to increase your mind reading skills. What I mean by that is you got to pay attention to your man to the point to where you can get a sense of what he is needing, even though he's not expressing it. And I know that sounds unfair, but the thing is, you chose. That's the model that you chose. Yeah, the one you chose, he don't know how to express himself. And if you leave it that way, without addressing it, your marriage is in danger. Uh, and on this whole, well, why don't he just, you know, be like me? Well, you wasn't born that way. You learned to express yourself. No baby is born. Well, I guess they all born expressing themselves with the crying. But I'm saying you learn how to express yourself the way that you do. Don't beat him down because he hasn't learned what you learned, right? But uh, you got to make it safe for him. You got to, increase your mind reading skills. Why? Because that's the one you chose. You didn't choose one who already knew how to do it. Now, it is absolutely 100% his responsibility to fix that issue. It's not your responsibility to fix the issue. He needs to fix the issue. Brother, if you're on here, you got to learn to communicate. You got to learn to express your needs, right? Wife, it's not your business. It's not your responsibility to fix that. But because you chose who you chose, you do got to deal with it. It's like uh, many of you may know I want an F-150. I'm going to get an F-150. But the way gas prices are, my wife told me yesterday or not long ago that by August, they're projecting gas prices to be $6. I want an F-150, but I don't want the gas bill. So then that means I might need to choose a different truck or a different model because Ford now has an F-150 that's electric. It's called the F-150 Lightning. So if what I want is an electric truck, I can't buy a regular F-150 Raptor. That's what I want, right? So to get what I need, which is a low gas bill or no gas bill, I got to get the Lightning. Or choose what my eyes fell on or what my heart fell on and deal with what comes with it. That's where you are in your marriage. That's not an excuse for that brother to stay where he is. That's not an excuse to not grow. That's not an excuse to not grow. But you may have to be a little patient while he gets it. Don't just leave it there. Don't put your marriage in the hands of your husband. You be responsible for your own marriage. And for the husbands on here, don't put your marriage in the hands of your wife. Be responsible for your own marriage. Right? Well, she did this, he did that. It's your marriage though. It's your partner. Right? Do the work. Do the work to make your marriage better. Now, number six reason men cheat. Feeling like you don't have a partner or feeling alone in the marriage. Now, this can show up in a lot of ways. And honestly, it's not so easy to detect when your man has this particular issue, right? It's not easy to detect when he's feeling alone, or he's feeling like we're not partners. And the reason I say that is because um, what to you on the outside can look like just regular frustration or regular disappointment could be inside of him a feeling of like we're not partners. We're not even on the same team. Now, that obviously is not all on the wife, right? Wife, what am I going to tell you to do with that? Um, Communication, constantly talking, but ultimately, if so, men, if you're on here, if you're not feeling like you and your wife are partners, then you have to talk to her about that, right? You got to talk to her about feeling alone. But then, wife, when he talks to you, you can't get offended. You can't get defensive. By the way, I want you guys to move past this reality or this mindset of when your partner says something to you or about you that you don't like or that you don't agree with. You got to get upset about it. You don't. They're their thoughts. It's their emotions. They're just telling you what they think and how they feel. That can't harm you at all. The fact that they're a human being and not God means that what they're thinking and what they're saying might not even be accurate. So there's no reason for you to get upset because you don't know why they're thinking and saying that. You don't know, but you want to investigate, right? So in your marriage, there's a certain level of intimacy that is necessary for you to feel connected and not feel alone and feel like we're partners. And actually, so let me just go ahead to number 7. That's the last one. Too busy to connect. Men cheat because you guys are too busy to connect, or the connection you have is not deep enough. When that happens, the previous point that I just made can also have it can create feeling lonely, feeling like we're not partners, feeling like we're not on the same team. uh do the work to build your marriage. I tell folk all the time, great marriages don't just happen. You got to work at it. And if you take the intimacy out of your marriage, all you have is a acquaintance, maybe close friend. But the difference between best friends or any friends, best friends or whatever, and spouses is the level of intimacy. So if the level of intimacy is too low, I just like we friends. How does intimacy increase? Into me, see. I got to be vulnerable and transparent. I got to be open. And so do you. I need to see you for you. I want to know what's going on in your life. I want to know how you feel. I want to know what you think. I want to know your fears. I want to know your joys. Who's your best friend? What coworker do you have a problem with? Right? I want to know. What's your worst childhood memory. What's your best childhood memory? Tell me about your childhood at all. Right? Let's build this intimacy because um, the here's why infidelity is so, what's the word, not elusive, that's opposite, but so, let me just explain it. The reason why it's so easy to get caught up into an affair when you're not looking for it, and when you're not like, I'm a cheater, like if that's not your reality, the reason is because we have these human needs. And again, the enemy is subtle. And so things just start, you guys start growing distant, right? You start getting distant. And then as you get distant, you start to seek either outside, you start to talk to folk outside, or you're not talking to anybody and someone on the outside just shows up, say, hey, you need a listening ear? I can listen, or whatever the case. And then next thing you know, you guys are on a path where Shirley Glass says in her book, Not Just Friends, you've opened a window where there's supposed to be a wall, and you're allowing someone to see into your marriage that should not have access to your marriage, right? So this whole idea of windows and walls is really important. But if we're not intimate enough, if we're not close enough, because we are human beings and because we thrive on intimacy, you leave the door open for them to connect with somebody else. Now, again, you can't do anything if they're fighting connection with you. But as much as it depends on you, make sure the connection is strong. People who cheat, this is not all inclusive, right? In general, people who cheat are not well connected with their partners. And the problem is, here's the problem, because this is what I see in my office. When they come in, the wife did not know that they were not connected the way that he's saying, because of the communication or whatever else is going on in the marriage. And the thing about all of these that I named, several of these can be going on at the same time. So it may not be just one thing. It could be a collection of these that has him in a place where he's vulnerable to cheating. Meaning, I remember using this example one time. This was years ago. I was dealing with an affair couple, and I put them in the mindset of it's like you cheated, and so you put him outside the house, not physically, but like imagine your husband outside the house knocking on the door trying to get in, and it's cold outside, or it's raining, the weather's really bad, but because you're upset or whatever the case, you ain't letting him in. But then another female comes by with a coat or an umbrella, and you're upset. Yes, he should be able to say, hey, no, my wife got an umbrella in the house. She gonna open the door in a minute. No, I got a coat in the house. She gonna open the door in a minute. But that ain't what happens if he don't have appropriate boundaries. And if he don't know if he don't have appropriate boundaries, if he don't know who he is, if he has still has childhood issues, if he has self-esteem issues, if he can't express himself, all those things, he probably gonna take the coat. And what I'm trying to do, so if he takes the coat or if he takes the umbrella, that's a choice he's making. That's not on you. But what I'm saying is, don't have him locked outside where that can happen. Here's something else I used to tell people. Because you can't control your partner, you can't make them cheat or not cheat. Don't make it easy for them. So I'll use myself as an example. If my wife is gonna cheat on me, she's not gonna cheat on me because I'm a butthole. She's not gonna cheat on me because I'm mistreating her. She's not gonna cheat on me because my wife cheat on me. She gonna have to cheat on me, and man, he a good man, but I still want to do this. Like, I'm not gonna give her, if I can help it, reasons and excuses to cheat. Again, her choice, but I ain't helping, right? I'm not gonna help you leave me. I'm gonna make it hard by how much I love you, how much I care for you, how much I sacrifice for you. And there are some women, now I will say this, some of you may be on here, there are some wives who've done that for their husband, they still got cheated on. And my heart breaks in those situations, right? So those are the 7 things I have for why men cheat. But since I am talking about infidelity and I've already gone super long, let me just add this little last part about a few tips on moving through the destruction of infidelity. Number one, so it's for both of you, but I'm speaking to the husbands right now. If you've cheated, you got to give her the space to ask whatever questions she needs answered. She cannot move forward with all of these questions in her head because, again, remember, her world is upside down. So you got to allow her to ask questions. But on the other hand, wife, there's some questions you don't need answers to. Like, how many times? Good question. Where? Good question. Trying to figure out all the times he lied? That's good. What positions they had? Bad question. It's irrelevant to anything. If you're planning to work on your marriage and stay, you do not need to know all of what they did because it's just going to be a stain in your brain and you can't move forward. That's not going to help you at all. It won't help you one iota. Not at all. Not helpful. Just assume if they had sex, they did everything that's included in sex. And then now let's just deal with the injury. Like, did you give her head, and did y'all do it from that? Just assume it all happened. Now let's just deal with it. You don't need those kind of details, right? But husbands, you got to share with her. You got to answer the questions that she has. It being uncomfortable for you. I mean, you kind of should have thought about that before you laid down. Okay. And this is really, really big. This is really big. I know I'm not giving a fair tips, but I'm gonna say this. When you come clean, husbands, come all the way clean. Do not come clean in bits and pieces. You are going to re-injure her, and you are going to make it less likely that y'all make it. Now, if y'all already decided to divorce, then I mean, okay, whatever. But if y'all gonna work on it, don't reveal things in pieces. Don't hold things back because, man, if I share that, though, it's going to really hurt her. You've already destroyed her. You got to help rebuild her. And that's another thing. The person who hurt you is the person that got to help you rebuild. If y'all going to stay together. Now, if y'all break up, again, it's kind of a moot point. But if y'all are going to work on it, y'all got to work together. One more thing I want to share about the infidelity. Wives, I know you're hurt. I know you're crushed. I know you're angry. But again, if you plan to stay with your husband, you are not going to help the situation by talking to him crazy, by being disrespectful. One wife told me, "Yeah, but he needs to hurt the way I'm hurting." I understand the sentiment, but walking that out, you are going to hinder what you're trying to create, which is a better marriage. Because at the end of the day, yeah, the brother was foul and out of line. He's still a human being. And no human being enjoys being disrespected. If somebody break in your house and you catch them and you jump on them and start beating them up, they're not going to say, "Oh, man, you caught me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have broken here. Go ahead and beat me up." No, they're going to fight you back. Why? Because you're fighting them, even though they are wrong. You feel me? So you got to make sure you're not attacking. Ask your questions, but don't attack. Be respectful. Don't stay. I need to get off of this now because now I'm getting into a whole lot but don't stay up all night talking about it. It's not going to profit you anything. The best thing you can do is call a therapist. That's another thing. Last thing, do not try to deal with infidelity on your own if you intend to save the marriage. Don't do that. You are going to. I have so many people who come to me after 5 years, after 10 years of when the infidelity was 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And when we start work, it's like day one. Why? Because y'all ain't really dealt with nothing. Y'all just tried to move past it. This is not a wound that time will heal. As a matter of fact, time does not heal wounds. Time does not heal wounds. Work in time heals wounds. Okay? All right. Well, that's what I got for y'all tonight, and I hope that was helpful. I see. I'm saying I don't see any little eyes up there. I don't know if anybody's watching, and I ain't heard no comments. Usually, content like this, you be hearing comments throughout, and I hadn't heard. I'm like, man, am I even live? But I see y'all's face up there. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me tonight. I apologize that I went a little longer. I was not intending on going that long, and I apologize for the little disruption earlier. I was thrown off. There was no way for me to. I couldn't just snap back, and we were live. So what was I gonna do? I can't come back tomorrow. So, sorry about that. Regular human here. Sheena, thank you. She said, "Well done." I appreciate that. Hopefully it was informative, and hopefully you were able to hear good content through my fumbling and messing up words and using the wrong syllables and whatever else. Right? Hopefully you was able to get what I was trying to get to you, which is help your husband be great by working on your marriage, by treating him based on who he is, not who you want him to be. Okay. All right. So if you guys don't have any questions, I'm gonna let y'all go. But if you do have questions, if you registered and you have questions, you're gonna get an email asking you, hey, if you have any questions. And if you do, just put it in the email, send it to me, and I'll answer it. Whether or not I answer it on video will depend on how good the question is, but I may just reply to you. Um, if you did not register, but you're watching this and you want to ask me a question, send me an email, clifton@abetterfamilynow.com or clifton@learntolove101.com. Okay. All right. Give me y'all time to ask questions. No questions. Okay. Well, you guys be encouraged. Thank you for watching and listening, for my podcast listeners. And I will see you, my book club people, next Friday. And let me make that announcement again, since I made it at the beginning. The book club has launched. If you want to join the book club, you have to let me know, because I'm only sending emails to the folk who said that they were interested. But we already have a few people in. I think it's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. We're doing this book. The first book we're doing is for men only and for women only. I know that's 2 books, but it's kind of, one book, but for 2 genders. So the men are reading for men only and the women are reading for women only. We're going to come together and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to lead the discussion. I'm going to give you some of my insights, but I really want to know some of your insights too. I love For Men Only. One of the best books. One of the best books that I give my clients about relationships and understanding women. I love it. So we'll be talking about that. All right. All right, guys. So thank you. Have a good night, and I will